Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Mystics MMOs. I'm your host, Mystic Raven. So I've been having idiots argue with me. Meta players. Trolls. Using the same boring shit they've been using for 2 years. Because they're predictable. I have content creators jumping on that bandwagon, and only a few people understand what I'm saying. That's you guys, my viewers, because those trolls don't. I was able to, I do give them up credit. One thing, they reminded me that Medusa was a heavy armor set, so I was like, oh yeah, that's right. So, because I don't use it a lot, but I did go get it, and I went ahead and put it on. I infused, bloodthirsty, and whatever. Now, I'm still keeping the Scoria, and I have the Zon on. The Mundus that they're going to want to use is the Shadow. Now, they're going to want to use daggers or whatever, but that's not going to scale your spell damage. I'll show you some tricks that can, because they're not the brightest fucking tools in the shed. I've said this time and fucking time again. Now they would use daggers. Now let's go ahead and get into this. They would use daggers. I'm going to tell you that, right? You guys are going to know that, right? They're going to justify it to say, oh, it's because of this and that and whatever. Okay, yeah, I already have it, and I already took that out. Okay, do I have the daggers? Yeah. No, I don't. I think it's down there. Yeah, I do. Okay. So, let's go ahead for fucking shits and giggles. Throw on their precious fucking daggers. Now, they're going to keep it precise. And why? Because they want that crit, right? That's what they want. 64.1. Right? Unless they figure out how to implement harpoons. There's ways to do that. Once again, whatever. So, you'd have to give up the proc, though, and they want to keep Zon. Oh my god! So you're not going to use harpoon. Anyways, if you keep a proc, I've said that multiple times on a monster set. There's just no two ways about it. But I also in the CP points, so people don't see that I'm doing some shit. I've stacked the spell damage. So this is their fucking shit. This is their best. Their best. Their best. Okay? I just got health on whatever. But health isn't magic. It doesn't scale the spell damage. I'm going to use degen to proc our major sorcery. And use our swallow souls to proc or whatever. Okay. Our top end. Ready? 6-3. With the Shadow Mundus. Now. That's our top end. To get Zon. Where it was on live, you need 6'5". Or 200 short. Can we do it? Yeah, but the options are we'd either have to take the apprentice and sacrifice the shadow, there we hit. And we'd be at a 70% crit. So that's an option. But we'd have to give up the shadow. Or we can even do something even crazier, which they might think of. But they'd have to give up their bis. And you can go swords. Wow, Mystic. But what happened to our Abyss? Shut the... Smack your ass backwards. Smack your ass backwards. Swear to God. But let's say they wanted to keep with the daggers. Right? They couldn't go precise if they wanted to hit the 6-5. So what would they have to do? That's right. They would have to go with the trait that scales the spell damage. The one, the only, the Nerd Crack. Nerd Crack is where it's at. But if you do that, that puts your crit at 62. Even with daggers. So their optimal solution is going to be Swords of Medusa. Is it? No, I don't think it is either. Wait a minute. Is that an indifferent value we bumped into? 62. Wait a minute. Ah, slightly off. Slightly off. 62.9, 62.4. I'm still indifferent. No, 6 by 2. We have an indifferent value. Less than 2%. We have. Congratulations. Dun da da da. Dun 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 dun. Dun da da da. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Oh my. They are not bright. Either way, no matter what way you slice this piece of pie, you only have very limited options. Now, I've always said 60's been the sweet spot. But let's hypothetically say, okay, whatever. I would roll with this. I would roll, well, not with the daggers, but I would roll potentially, you know, I'd keep maybe the shadow, right? And I would drop and go with the Nernholm versus the precise. Why? Okay, well, once again, it goes back down to those fundamentals, right? It goes back down to those fundamentals for us. Ugh. 31-36. Now let's add this. My base is 13 on my swallow. That's my base. 31 is my crit. What happens if we go precise? What's going to happen? What's going to happen? 28. It drops. And if they're not happy with 70% crit, well, obviously they could take the thief, right? To get it up to less than 10%, 76, I think. Let's take a look. 80. It is 80. So we have an 80% crit chance. That's pretty high. You'd have to give up the shadow. You'd have to if you want a higher crit. Right? But look. Every time we scale up crit, our base drops. And what's the one thing I've said I would never do. I would never justify dropping this. Now it's kind of interesting here. Because if we take the shadow and we come back in and we're at what, 70? I said I would never go over 70, but now we got the 30. Almost 31, but, you know. Let's see what the apprentice will do. Can it keep up? I'm just doing this off the fly. Not comparable. And I mean, it's not horrible. Oh no. We got 30, 13, 4, 9 base. 30 with the apprentice. Okay. That's kind of interesting, isn't it? I'm wearing all divine. Let's go back. Let's re-grab this. What was our top end crit at? I mean, everybody loves the shadow. I'm not a big fan, to be honest. Never have been. $30 till 38. Oh, now look, that was a big jump. A couple 100 points on the last tick. The base damage goes down a little bit though. So, Goes on 5. Up. We'll do them both again. 31. About 700. So yeah, that's a big difference. So the shadow is critting a lot better. But we're not done. What happens if we Nern home these and go back? I'm just kind of playing around with everything. I always like to get the base because regardless of human error, the base is whatever. Then you can calculate frequencies and stuff. It's not bad. I mean, it's not hitting like the shadow, for sure. But we're getting 6-6. We're over that. Now, I'm kind of interesting how, if I add the Nern, and I drop this down to 60, right? And I stack the Apprentice, how high can I get my spell damage? How high can I get it? Six, 9, 7, 7, 8, 7, 1. Damn, y'all. Now, where's that put our proc at? Well, we're going to take a look at our proc damage. Because guess what procs can't do? That's right, they can't crit. Procs don't crit. Right? So we're still losing on the Shadow, but we got our proc up to 2190. That's interesting. And our crit is 62. What if I were to drop the daggers for the swords and use the scale factor even further? Alright. Can we push this up to maybe 8.5? Somewhere around there? Now hold on. We've got to earn them though. And we'll check out where we're at. So we're at 5.7 now with, wait, what's that critical value again? Where's my 55 to 60? This seems to be a trending number. Oh, is it gonna hit the 8? Might be short. Oh, we're short 7.5. I was hoping for another grand. But what's that do to our monster set? 2307. So we can top in at a 2307 by stacking our spell damage. If we could top in at, but we'd have to give up a lot. Most likely that's not going to happen. Right? That's just not. I'm only switching weapons, playing around with traits. More than likely, they're going to want to try to stay with the daggers. And then they're going to justify that 62 or 70. Because if they stay precise, they're not going to make it. Because you're using the Shadow Mundus. No matter how you cut it, they're going to have to lose somewhere. They have to. They can't stay in the same configuration to pull Zahn off. There's no way, no two ways about it. I got 23. If I go ahead and I infuse, precise these, right? No matter what happens, I'm going to lose. And monster sets don't proc. I mean, don't crit. Not proc. Oh man, that's warning. We're only going to get up to 1929. About 500 difference. Does that matter? Well, yeah, because every second it's magnified by 100%. So the higher it goes, that's another scale factor. So there's a weight to that? Yeah, lots of weight. Lots of weight. Because monster sets don't crit. So, like I said, in their current configuration, they're at 70. I want to go over 70. If they find a way to put in the harpoons, they have to sack something somewhere along the way. If that happens. If they want to maintain it, right? They're going to either take the loss, the big fat L, or they have to make adjustments and lose somewhere else. And they'll have to sacrifice down their critical. And I said that yesterday. I have said that. I repeated that process. Where are you going to take your L? Where are you going to take it? And that's what I'm trying to say. This is Stam's reign. They're going to scale at an insanely higher value. They're just going to. The higher they scale, the less penetration they need. And they're forcing damage. It's called forced damage. Anything after a 6.5, shit. If they hit 8K, they can get away with 3.5, roughly. And their monster sets will scale the fucking back. It's just the way it goes, man. I said the scale factor in this game is more of a detriment than its asset. I don't know what to tell people. Someone's like, I can hit the value. No, you can't. Not after Blackwood launch. Not with this configuration. No matter how you slice it, one class can pull it off. Sork. That's it. Because of its passives. That's it. Because Sorcerer gets spell damage increase. So if you're a high elf Sorcerer, you can pull the value. Any other class? No. And I'm a Dunmer, so Dunmer actually still has a really damn good spell damage. And Ruination. No matter how you slice that, apple pie, it's apple pie. You ain't changing what it is. It is what it is. Okay? The Sork is one of the only classes that could probably achieve the value. 63. The Sork could do it. It's the only class that's capable with this configuration. It's the only class that's capable of pulling it off because of its passives. Good luck. All I can say. And please stop being like, oh, I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. You're taking an L somewhere. You're more than likely going to keep the shadow. You're going to take the huge crit loss. If you try to justify taking the thief, you can get up to 80. All right? You can. But now you're going to lose all that critical damage. You're down to 27 versus over 3. Like 38. Those are diminishing returns working. That's called the law of diminishing returns. That's diminishing returns, y'all. Welcome to it. Now, if you even Nernholm this, you drop significantly, right? That would even be, you know, you're going to be around back down to 70. It's a bigger value though, but you're gonna not take the shadow. You're gonna take the shadow, no matter how you slice that. You're gonna end up sticking with the shadow. You just have to suck it up, buttercups. Okay. I don't know what to tell you. Okay. Stop giving me ammo to fuck with you too. Okay? Stop giving me ammunition to fuck with you. Alright. Once again, I'm Mr. Craven. This is Mystics MMOs. Have a good one.